delighted I am to be here. And I don't know where to start because I want to tell you about my trip from Marshall, Texas to Fort Worth, Texas. And, well, I was raised in Marshall on University Avenue between Newtown School and Wiley University it is now. And my parents worked hard, but the house my father built for my mother before they married burned. And so he put together a 3-room house with the idea that he would rebuild, but it never happened. The Depression came. He left Marshall for Fort Worth finding work. My mother was to follow. Well, he never quite got around to sending for us. So she sold all the possessions they had for train fare for herself and 3 children. We got to Fort Worth and we stayed with friends who were caretakers of this huge 3-story building. It was a medical library. Our parents got back together. I ended up at a tiny little Cooper Street school that was built on a city dump for Black children. And I went on when my parents found a place for us on the south side. We roomed with some people for, I had a brother who said we moved 16 or 18 times. But my mother had a fall on us on a city bus and she was compensated. And she took that money and bought a home. Yeah. I went to Gwynn School. And from Gwynn to Iron Terrell, my father joined the Navy. And I finished Iron Terrell at 16, and my mom was so proud. She was going to send me back to Marshall to Wiley. But I got married. She was so disappointed. She wouldn't even go to the wedding. And it took me 4 years and 4 babies to realize I was going to have to raise my husband too.
Oh, no.
So I cut my losses, went home to my mom, and had nerve enough to say, I'm ready to go to college now. She says, I got no money to send you to nobody's college. But she said she'd keep my children out of work. I don't know how many jobs to get the money to go to work. And I spent it. I bought the children a television so she wouldn't have to run all over the neighborhood looking for them. And I went to Wiley without a dime. They put me to work in the college bookstore, and I didn't quit the job in Fort Worth because I didn't know what was going to happen. I'd come back on weekends. She kept the job during the week. She'd collect the check. Nobody knew the difference the work got done. And I finished Wiley in 3.5 years. I couldn't stay at 4. I went back to Fort Worth, got a job teaching and paid $2,000 a year.
Oh my God.
I couldn't feed 4 children, $2,000. So I got another job. If I was at school from 8 to 3, there'd be a car waiting for me. I clocked in at Lockheed Martin from 4 to 12. I'd still be working like that, I guess. I got a job teaching. And I stayed with that. And I saw children who would come to school hungry, didn't have proper clothing, some of them no place to stay. I ended up being what's called a visiting teacher, and I was able to relieve some of that. I got busy in getting food for people. I ended up with a food bank with some other people. There was this huge building behind where I live. We asked for it and they leased it to us for $4,000 a month. And I nearly had a hemorrhage. Oh my God, getting it $4,000. But we paid it for 11 months. And the month we didn't have the money, the owners came to us and said they felt we were doing a good job in the neighborhood, and they gave us that $1 million plus for sale.
Wow.
Well, I had polled people. I polled people in the neighborhood to find out anybody want a farm? And 66 people said they did. Here I go to the Trinity River Authority and ask for the use of land on the Trinity River. They let us have 13 acres. We still farm. They call it Opal's Farm.
Wow.
And so we try to service people who've been incarcerated. If you know anybody who's been incarcerated, you know they worked on one of the Texas farms. And so when they come out of the prison system, we try to help them by paying them to do the farm that we have, Opal's Farm. And we have a farm manager to die for. Joel gives some of the produce to the wheat program, to the community center, and he takes the rest to market. We're so proud of it. And so we are trying to buy a civic block in that neighborhood where we can have housing for the people who work on the farm. I tell you, I'm so happy I could do a holy dance, but the children say when I try, I'm twerking whatever. tell you that each of you, I want you to make yourself a committee of one to change somebody's mind. We know people who are on the same page will change their minds. Because if people can be taught to hate, they can be taught to love. Our responsibility to see that that happens. Me too.